A show about a hot rabbi that dates a blonde, Shiksa, and an animated series about a Jewish family throughout time. What do these shows have in common, besides the obvious? We're talking about two hit TV shows that have both been critiqued and applauded for the ways that they do Jewish representation. That's right, I'm talking about Nobody Wants This and Long Story Short. Let's roll the intro. Hi there, my name is Shayna and this is my channel. I talk about culture, Jewish themes and pop culture, and basically anything else I want to talk about. And if you don't like it, start your own channel. Okay, but please subscribe to my channel. Thank you, bye. Okay, Nobody Wants This and Long Story Short. I wanted to talk about both of these shows because honestly, I liked both of them. Don't come for me yet, okay? I like both, but I will say overall, the overall audience critique and reception is that Nobody Wants This doesn't have the best Jewish representation, while Long Story Short has much better representation. Now, I agree with that overall assessment, but I have to say when I was watching this, I actually found that I was surprised by the things I didn't like and the things I did like about each show. So let's start with Nobody Wants This. Nobody Wants This originally aired in September 2024, and it stars Jewish hot actor Adam Brody. No, not that Brody, the other one. Adam Brody, and also America's Sweetheart, Girl Next Door, and American Beauty, Kristen Bell. What's not to love already about that? Basically, the overall premise, if you don't know it, oh, by the way, spoilers ahead. If you don't know the overall premise, Adam Brody is a rabbi, and Kristen Bell is like a shiksa that does a podcast, and she's like hot and blonde, and they end up falling in love and dating, and as the title suggests, people don't want it because they're different religions and ethnicities. Also, apparently, the show was originally supposed to be called Shiksa, but they tested it with audiences, and audiences didn't know what a shiksa was. Who knew America was so uncultured? Personally, I think Shiksa would have been a great title for the show, but whatever, now we got Nobody Wants This, which makes it sound like a show that nobody would want to watch. Great. Anyway, overall I have to say I actually really enjoyed the show, okay? Don't come for me. I think that it's lighthearted, it's funny, the two lead actors are both attractive, and there's a lot of funny little side characters. Don't even get me started on Sasha, he's such a great character. So look, I get that there's criticism, but overall I think it's a good show, and you know what? It had a second season, and it's slated to get a third season, so I think people overall also agree with me that it's a good show, it's fun. Okay, but there are some criticisms, and I have to say they're actually very valid, okay? So let's talk about that now. People have said overall that they don't like the way Jewish women are represented, and as a Jewish gal myself, I can understand, okay? First of all, Noah, our lead hot rabbi, when he goes to date Joanne, the shiksa, the women in his family, the other women, the wives-in-laws and sisters, and I can't even keep track, they all are not very friendly to her. They act kind of snooty, and they're just like not even giving her a chance, you know? Not even giving her a chance. And then, of course, a very big criticism is the mother of Noah. She's the stereotypical, overbearing Jewish mother who will not have her son date a shiksa. I can see why people have some criticisms about that. Is this a valid critique? Does it maybe put us Jewish gals in bad light, especially fabulous ones such as myself? Yes. So how do I forgive it? Well, for starters, I think that really it's touching an overall theme that's common in shows. What we're following is a main character who we think is obviously very likable, but she struggles to fit in. She's not with the in crowd. There's cliques. There's people who don't like her because she's different than them. And that's a pretty common theme. And I bet you if this story was the other way around and it was a Jewish girl dating like I don't know, a priest or something, some Christian guy, I bet that maybe in the show they would have some of the Christian women not be too welcoming or something like that. Listen, don't come for me. I'm just saying it's a common theme, and you could switch around the ethnicities and religions and all of that, and there'd still probably be characters that aren't welcoming to our protagonist. So I just think that that's something that happens a lot. It's a common theme and it's relatable. Also, I'm just a sucker for seeing Jewish representation anywhere. And honestly, I don't think the creators of the show had any ill intentions. In fact, Erin Foster converted to Judaism, and I think she probably pulled from experience a little bit, and I don't think she had any intention there. Also, the show does put Judaism in a positive light and normalizes it a bit. There's some scenes that really show celebration, like when Joanne first learns about Shabbat and then she scolds Noah for missing her first Shabbat. Things like that. I think it paints it in a positive light, and I just think overall when you have Jewish representation, because we have such little of it, it's nice to see it on screen. It's nice to see a hot rabbi. It's nice to see Jewish rituals being represented at all. It's nice to see Noah in his community, at his synagogue, and doing his thing. It's very nice. Also, I did mention this already, but Adam Brody is hot, and he's Jewish, and we can point to him and we can say, look at this smart, hot hunk. He's Jewish and he's ours, okay? I like that. Also, I just love the character Sasha. I think he's very funny. He adds a lot of comic relief. And honestly, I really like the whole will they, won't they relationship he has with Morgan, Joanne's sister. I mean, is it bad that they make Sasha's wife seem like a real Yes. Is that bad? Yes, sure. And is it bad that maybe it's implying he might have an affair even though he doesn't? Yeah, that's also bad too. But you know what? It makes for good content. It's entertaining. It's lighthearted. I don't take it that seriously, and I just find it entertaining, okay? And you know what? That's the thing. I don't think about the show too much because that's the kind of show that it is. It's lighthearted, it's fast-paced. Sure, they touch upon some serious subjects, but they kind of go over it very quickly. It's kind of like, think about if there's a spectrum of shows, you've got on one end shows like New Girl, and the other end shows like Mr. Robot, okay? In New Girl, no offense to anyone who likes New Girl, I get it, it's entertaining. But New Girl, she's got a new boyfriend every 5 episodes. It's light, it's fast, it's just meant to be entertaining. Mr. Robot, on the other hand, well, that touches upon some serious subjects. Oh God, Elliot! Oh, we're so sorry, our poor baby. Anyway, I would say that, Nobody Wants This is more akin to New Girl. It's meant to be fun, fast-paced. I'm not taking it too seriously, and I don't think other people are either. Also, again, no offense if you like New Girl, but I think Nobody Wants This is a little bit better, a little bit deeper. I don't know. Either way, it's still it's like bubblegum where the flavor isn't gonna last very long, so you just chew it and you enjoy it while the flavor's there, and that's how I feel about it. And if Nobody Wants This is a little bit more like New Girl, then the other show, Long Story Short, is a little bit more like, well, BoJack Horseman. No, really, it's like BoJack Horseman because the creator of the show, Raphael Bob Waksberg, who created BoJack Horseman, also created Long Story Short. So let's talk about Long Story Short now, okay? Long Story Short is an animated series. It's about a Jewish family told in a nonlinear fashion. It was premiered in August 2025, and the cast is very Jewish. We've got Jewish actors doing the voices, including Ben Feldman, Abby Jacobson, Lisa Edelstein, Max Greenfield, and Paul Reiser, America's Jewish uncle. Being an animated show, it's a little more off the beaten path, okay? For some reason, adults don't watch animated shows. I mean, they do, obviously, but it seems like a lot don't. I don't know why. They just don't take it seriously. I don't get it. Personally, I love animated series, but it's a little more off the beaten path. But for those who have seen it, I would say overall, the reception has been very positive and people have applauded it for the way that it does Jewish representation. In fact, the show is so well received that it's already slated to have a second season coming out this year. Now, do I agree with all of the positivity? Of course I do. I love the show. But before we get into the things I like about the show, dare I say it, I want to talk about some things I don't like about the show. I know, please don't come for me. I promise you I love the show. I just rewatched the season and I was reminded of why I love it. But there's some things I don't like and I want to talk about it. So let's get over that part first, okay? So first of all, I just want to say I was very excited to watch this show, okay? I love BoJack Horseman. I think it's an amazing show. It's somehow funny, but then touches upon poignant topics. It touches upon addiction, human nature, trauma, Hollywood, all of that. And I've watched it several times. I love it. So when I found out that the creator, Raphael Bob Waxberg, was going to be making another animated series, only it was going to be starring a Jewish family, have Jewish actors, I was just over the moon, okay? I was like, this is going to be incredible. I can't wait to see it. Then we get to the first episode, and we start off strong by showing Avi, and he goes home to see his family, and he brings his what? His blonde shiksa girlfriend. Only his mother is rude to the shiksa girlfriend the entire time. She makes passive-aggressive comments that I would say are more aggressive than passive. Jen, the girlfriend, brings home a vase, and we do not hear the end of how the vase is, like, not a thoughtful gift. The mother just finds every opportunity to be disrespectful, and on top of that, she doesn't call the girl Jen, she calls her Jennifer, even though Jen does not want to be called Jennifer. Does this sound familiar? I don't know. A show about a guy bringing home a blonde shiksa and the overbearing mother doesn't care and is rude. Except in this case, this mother is way more rude than the mother in Nobody Wants This. Don't get me wrong, the mother in Nobody Wants This says some rude things, but I have to say, because of the type of show it is, she's still a little bit more like lighthearted and funny. It's kind of silly. This is just like, wow, this mother is overbearing. Wow. What a stereotype. And then, let's not even get started on Avi and his internalized anti-Semitism, although I will say his sister Shira does bring it up. He does not seem proud to be Jewish at all. He doesn't really seem to even want to identify as Jewish. And I mean, that's his prerogative, but there's just so much content out there that shows Jewish people not really wanting to be Jewish, and then he just adds to that stereotype, even though there's plenty of people who love to be Jewish. Yours truly included in that. I love it. And then on top of that, Avi has a daughter that they don't consider Jewish because she's not halakhically Jewish, because she's a patrilineal Jew, she's not Jewish. But clearly she's very interested. She wants to have a bat mitzvah, she wants to learn Yiddish words, she seems very interested in being Jewish, and we don't really go into that much. I do have a theory that they're gonna go into it in the second season, so we'll give it some time, but I just think it's cruel what they do to that girl. She really wants to be Jewish, and they treat her like she's not. And the father, only until the very end. He doesn't really support it until the end. Also, maybe again we'll learn more about it in the second season, but we don't really get to learn much about the dad in the family. We learn more about the mother and the other family members. Now, I will give the show credit, though, because it does add some nuance and complexity. For instance, Naomi, the mother, the one I said was overbearing, we do get to learn a bit more about her, and I think that brings some keen insight into why she is the way she is. For instance, there's an opening to one episode where we see her as a child, and she just wants to share with her family something exciting. She rode her bike, but no one's listening to her, and she has to injure herself to get their attention. No, really, she injures herself so the family stops and gives her attention, and that's the only way she can share the good news. And then later on, we see this night where the community is celebrating Naomi, and all these people are talking about all the great things she did for them, and we see this other side of her. And so maybe we learn a bit more about her. She's not just the overbearing mother, she also has some complexities and maybe some reasons why she is the way that she is. So I do give the show credit for that. And maybe Nobody Wants This could have done that. I think they actually do, arguably, in the second season. I think they make the women a little nicer. I think Erin Foster took some of that criticism and tried to make the women a little bit nicer and more approachable. But as I said, Nobody Wants This isn't that type of show where they're going to go really deep into deep topics, so we're not going to have as much nuance. What I'm saying is, I liked, long story short, okay? I think I like that they go into the nuance. I'm just saying that the first episode was really off-putting, the way they made Naomi such a stereotype and so overbearing. I'm just saying it was off-putting. But you know what? I did just recently rewatch the entire season, and I have to say I was reminded by all of the reasons I really love this show. So like I said, don't come for me because I loved it, and now we're going to talk about all the reasons I love this show. First of all, I really like the accurate depictions of Judaism. It goes into a little bit more detail and is very accurate, and it's no wonder because, you know, Bob Waxberg is Jewish and probably pulled from his experiences growing up. One thing I really liked, actually, was when they explore Yoshi and how he decides to convert to like a more orthodox observance of Judaism, where he's keeping kosher and he follows strict observance of Shabbat and all of that. And it becomes a problem for his mother. I actually really like this part because I think that it shows some positive representation for Orthodox Judaism. Sometimes that's not put in the best light, but I think this shows that it was really good for Yoshi. Yoshi was kind of flailing. He was obviously smart, but he couldn't keep track of things. He couldn't really keep a job down. He just seemed to be wandering and flailing. And then when he finds orthodoxy, it's like he suddenly has structure in his life. He has all these rules that actually help him and bring order to his life. It's like we saw him spinning around, disoriented, and then orthodoxy, it grabbed his head and it oriented him, you know? Also, there's this part, ironically, that Naomi says that is so funny. They're arguing about the right way to be Jewish, and she says there is a right way for Judaism, and it's progressive, egalitarian, conservative Judaism with an emphasis on ritual and community over blind faith and practice. Okay, I just cracked up out loud when she first said that the first time because it was so specific, and yet she just threw it out there like it was so casual. Like, what? That's the right way to be Jewish. You're just progressive, egalitarian, blah, 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 blah. It was very funny. And also how specific it was. I actually feel like that described my level of Judaism because the community I'm a part of, we seem to be, I wouldn't say Reform, I would say we're more conservative in our observations of Judaism, but at the same time we believe in progressive values and we treat genders with equality, and then we look more into like the practices and the ritual over blind faith. So it is actually somehow very accurate. It's my favorite line of the whole show. Also, another episode I really like besides that Yoshi episode and the last episode is the episode about Kendra. So Kendra is Shira's wife, and she converts to Judaism before she meets Shira. And we learn in one episode a little bit more about her background and how she ends up converting to Judaism. And this episode is very complex because it's actually kind of horrific and beautiful at the same time. Basically, Kendra has been working for BJ Banana Fingers or whatever that place is called. It's like an arcade for children. And she's trying to climb the corporate ladder. And in doing so, she actually throws an employee under the bus, the metaphorical bus. And what she realizes is the employee that she screws over is an employee that was still working there when she was a child. And she actually contributed to Kendra having a really positive experience and memory of her childhood. So she realizes that she's done this, but she still goes through with it. She still throws this employee under the bus, and it's so horrible. This thing she does is just so horrible. And then through that experience and through some other things that happens, she ends up lying about being Jewish. She has to tell her boss the reason why she missed work was because of Rosh Hashanah, but it wasn't true. She didn't even know it was Rosh Hashanah until a nurse at a hospital told her. But then, through that lie, she ends up on Yom Kippur going to a synagogue and going to services, and she feels so guilty about what she's done to that employee and everything that has happened, and she's crying, and there's just this beautiful moment of solace where she's crying and she's praying with the people around her, and this woman next to her comforts her and says, "No, not you, we have all done wrong, we have all sinned." And I just think that's so beautiful. That last moment in the episode, it makes the whole episode. It's poignant, it's somehow ugly and beautiful. And that to me is the classic Bob Waxberg writing. The same stuff we saw in BoJack Horseman. It's the reason I love his work, and it's the reason I love this show. And there you have it. 2 shows that I thoroughly enjoy. Nobody Wants This is rightfully criticized, but I still really enjoy it. I think it's fun, and I like the representation that we get at all in it. And then long story short, obviously very great, very well received, but I don't let it slide that there are things that I don't like about it that I think are not good portrayals, but that's okay. That's the thing about these shows, is that they both are representation, and it's okay that they have differences. I like them both. And that's the thing about representation, okay? Identities are complex, and sometimes there are people who really do, once in a while, act in stereotypical ways, and when we write from experience, we're going to include those experiences in the stories we tell. I think what is most important is that we have a variety of representation. We can show mothers being overbearing, but we should also show mothers that are kind and caring. We can show people that act certain ways and then people who act other ways. People who run away from their identities, people who embrace their identities. I think the whole point is that instead of taking away, instead of saying, you know what, let's just not represent this at all, we just keep adding to the representation, and we try to represent as much as we can, and we expand upon that. And that's my take, and I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, thank you for watching my channel. If you like this episode, please like it. Please leave a comment, but only a nice comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you, bye.